Now it's time for Jared's 31 Days of Horror Movie Reviews, powered by Trek Cinema in Kernersville.
Today, very excited, one of the scariest horror movies of all time, Jaws.
Jared, stop right there.
What?
That awesome intro that we had lots of people work on, you're not doing it any justice by choosing Jaws.
Okay, you're wrong.
I'm not.
You're definitely wrong.
Nope.
You're 100% wrong.
That intro is so scary and so perfect, and then you review this nonsense?
Okay. That's your opinion?
Nonsense.
All right, when you did cooking for Katie and a cocktail, I didn't correct the things you were cooking.
She made food and make cocktails, though.
Fire back at
I
me.
think some weeks she didn't make cocktails.
What? Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Well, I wouldn't have chose that, but okay.
That show was fire.
I enjoyed it.
Yep.
I never see. That's how I am. I'm supportive. You're not. That's been our whole relationship. It's okay.
You cannot criticize me for something that was perfection every week.
I loved it.
Yeah,
I was always watching and commenting.
That's true.
Today is Jaws. We can get into how you feel about it. We know how Katie feels about it.
I guess so.
Classic movie.
You yell shark, we've got a panic on our hands on the 4th of July.
Shark!
4th of July.
Woo!
E2 Brute.
E2.
Yeah, they're all gonna die.
Oh, I'm scared. I'm terrified as we're just hearing it.
He's got lifeless eyes, black eyes, like a doll's eyes.
Oh my gosh. Just the idea of it happening is just...
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Ad-lib line, by the way. Line was ad-libbed.
So you see how you have to add extra things in there to make us interested?
I've done nuggets for everything. To make it interesting. Not one time during Katie's 14 years of Hollywood news did I say anything like that. Talking about like Taylor Momsen had a baby. I'm like, who gives a crap? I'm like, that's cool.
At least her news was about Hollywood.
It was.
It fit the genre.
Matt, you're on my S list, by the way. I found out you lied on the air about Beetlejuice.
I supported you on the air.
You were lying. It wasn't
so,
genuine.
I tried to make it better for you. I tried to help you out.
I don't like finding after the fact that you was a big lie. You think Beetlejuice was a horror movie.
He said the words. He didn't have to mean them.
Peer pressure. Peer pressure.
Peer pressure.
Jaws.
To go against everyone else, I was peer pressure.
No, I'm saying in the promotions meeting. When everyone's
absolutely.
Like, it's not. Like B.B. Shea scares you for some reason. Because he doesn't like good movies. All right, Jaws, Steven Spielberg, as you know.
Yes.
Starring Rob Schneider. Not that. Richard Dreyfuss, a young Richard Dreyfuss, and Robert Shaw as the old rough captain. Okay, 3 elements of horror as written by a horror writer. He says dread is the number 1. To anticipate with great apprehension. Okay, Jaws, where will he attack? Where is he? Who is he going to kill? Dread. Okay, number 1. Ding, give me a ding.
No.
Number 2, terror. A terror is number 2 element of horror. A state of intense or overwhelming fear. Some examples, Richard Dreyfuss in the shark cage, face to face with Jaws. He falls out the bottom. He's alone in the ocean. He doesn't know where Jaws is. That is dread.
Okay.
The sea captain being eaten alive slowly in the middle of the ocean. That's dread. Jaws coming for the main character at the end as the boat is sinking in the middle of the ocean. Dread. Number 2.
Isn't this supposed to be a review of the movie, not trying to prove whether or not it's horror?
See, Jason, he has to suspense.
I'm doing both. I'm explaining and also reviewing the movie at the same time. You see, I'm giving elements of the movie. And then horror is a part of horror, of course. An intense feeling of shock or disgust. In the first minute of the movie, there's a lady, an innocent woman swimming in the ocean, and she gets killed right away, followed by a series of gruesome deaths of innocent people. Feeling of shock or disgust. Yeah. Oh, I got all 3. Interesting. Honestly, though, I think Jaws, for me, is one of the greatest movies of all time.
Wow.
That is a totally fine statement.
And talk about inducing horror. People left Jaws, and they showed the year after Jaws came out, beach going across the country was down because people were scared to get in the ocean. It had the greatest impact of all time of any horror movie. It actually affected real people. Not even people going swimming sometimes in their own swimming pool felt weird about going under the water because they thought Jaws was in their pool.
There could be a shark.
So that was back in 1975, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing with anything
So it has
that you're
all
saying.
the elements. I know it's not the classic you think, oh, like Freddy Krueger. Even I didn't. But when I started thinking of the movie that scared me the most, Jaws is way up there.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah, I think the thing about Jaws is I will give it, even though it's listed everywhere I see as an adventure thriller type movie.
Like suspense.
Not horror. I would give more credit to horror over like a Beetlejuice because you have movies like Cujo, which is about the dog, and that's considered horror.
Right.
And you have, so I believe there is a horror aspect to it. I don't think it was scary at all, but I believe that there is horror aspects where an adult could be frightened.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's Roy Schneider, not Rob Schneider. I said Roy Schneider. That's the main actor. I said it wrong. But yeah, you're right. I mean, Jason and those different things. Yes, it's way scarier than Beetlejuice.
Yeah. Well, because it really could happen. I mean, we know that Beetlejuice is not going to happen.
The sharks seem to keep coming, but yeah, that's
well,
fine.
they could. I mean, that to me is why Jaws is scary. And I didn't even see Jaws until like a year ago. Remember? Because I had never seen it. I like it better when I didn't see it because it wasn't all the suspense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't. I don't know.
No, and it's fine. But it's interesting though. When I was reading about Jaws and I was talking about, I mean, I've obviously watched it, but reading about how like not only was beach going down after that, like it affected the entire nation, well, actually the world, where they're like, I don't want to go into the ocean because of a movie I saw. Is there anything more horrifying than that? And it actually got people, a whole group of people for shark conservation because people were then like killing sharks because like, oh, every shark is aggressive and bad, and they're not. I mean, to me they are, but I mean, they're not technically. They're really not. So anyway, and it changed filmmaking because by accident they didn't show the Jaws as much because of some mechanical issues, and they've used that in horror movies ever since, where you don't see the character as much, or you don't see the villain as much. That builds the suspense. So anyway, whether you think it's a horror movie or not,
you give it
out of 5 screams.
Wow.
5.
If I could do 10, I would.
I would disagree. And you know, a lot of these really scary horror movies that are really scary, they tend to be more of a rated R, and Jaws was rated PG-13. And there's only a couple movies I know that really kind of were scary at PG. Most of the real horror movies, I think, are rated R.
I think there's a lot of rated R scary horror movies. I'd have to look at the ratings for certain movies to see. I think Poltergeist was PG, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the one movie that I was shocked. I guess there's certain things are not shown. I guess it's based more on just a fearful feeling, but I was shocked when Poltergeist wasn't rated R because that was a scary movie.
What was Blair Witch, the Blair Witch Project? Because to me that was that was very scary.
That is Day 26, Katie.
It is?
Yeah, it's on there.
Is that an R? What was that even rated? Anything?
I don't even know because it was such a.
Yeah.
They kind of put it out there like they just found this tape. That was such a smart way of doing. I think it's the highest
grossing
percentage-wise based on the budget because it was like $10,000 and it made hundreds of millions of dollars or something like that.
They have to keep like reusing the same leaf pile. Wasn't that the story?
Halloween.
Oh, it's Halloween. Okay, never mind. Either way,
yeah,
it's all scary.
It was very, very low budget.
Yeah, it's rated R.
This has been Jared's 31 Days of Horror Movies. For more on this movie, follow Jared on Instagram at Jared B. Pike.
Very spooky. Wow. Very spooky.
Spookier than Jaws.
And the reason why, real quick, the Blair Witch Project was rated R was because of the language and the violence.
Okay.
And yeah.
I'm excited about that day.
And depictions of terror.
Tomorrow I am doing more of a comedy horror still. It's The Exorcist.
Oh, good.
The Exorcist.
That's not a comedy.
No,
He's just
it was
kidding.
a joke.
Oh, is this the old one or the new one?
The old one.
Oh, really?
The old one. And actually, that had an impact on people afterwards.
It did. You know, The Exorcist, there's a new one out, right?
It just came out.
And apparently, this is really like, there's been other Exorcists, but they're saying skip all the other Exorcists and just go see this new Exorcist.
The new one?
Yeah.
The new one looks terrifying.
Yes, it does.
Yep. And they do have it at Trex Cinemas in Kernersville. So yeah, I want to see that one as well. But the old one, obviously a classic, that will be reviewed tomorrow.